These are the same excuses we come up with, just a different context, as to why we cannot be what God wants us to be or do what God wants us to do. Moses, who 40 years earlier was wanting to serve God, as we've seen, doesn't really care much anymore. Moses makes five excuses that we see as to why he can't do what God wants him to do. And what's really important here, folks, these are the same things we say. These are the same excuses we come up with, just a different context, as to why we cannot be what God wants us to be or do what God wants us to do. But Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the sons of Israel out of Egypt?" Now, before we get too critical, if God would show up in your backyard this afternoon and say, "I want you to go to the Middle East and solve the Middle East crisis over there," what would you say? Something's giving me hallucination. But if it actually happened like that, you would say, "I have no ability for that. I can't pull that off." And that's exactly what Moses is saying here. I will give you my presence. Verse 12, he says this, and then he said, "Certainly I will be with you, and this will be a sign to you that I've sent you when you brought the people of Egypt, people out of Egypt, and they shall worship me at this mountain." God says, "I will go with you." The promise was that God would be with him, and that is enough. When you and I face the great challenges of our lives, whatever they might be, the great promise we have from God is he is with us. We need to all consider what the poet Robert Browning said, "God is in his heaven and all is well with the world." You see, if God is in his heaven, if God is in sovereign control of all things, no matter how the world seems to be falling apart, no matter how your world seems to be falling apart, all is well because he is God and he is sovereign and he loves you.